Let's make it do what it do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, you are watching the Ramon Preston Show. This is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Happy Tuesday. Good afternoon to those of you that are watching on the East Coast. If you're watching on the West Coast or somewhere else around the world, it's not 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, but here it is. We're live from the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Good afternoon. If you're coming on, joining me live, I need you to do me a quick favor. I need you to put in the comments what city you're watching your boy from. I appreciate all of you for joining us today. We are live. Today is Tuesday, August the 6th, 2024. Every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern, when I'm not busy and tied up, we show up here live, my squad and I, to give you the game, to share information with you that we know can help you in your process of becoming financially free, building a successful business, and establishing a legacy for you and for your family. So again, put in the comments what city you're watching the show from. If you have a question that you would like for me to ask during the live, drop the question in the comment, my friend. If you're watching from IG, I know you're not a part of our chat from the streaming side, but if you're watching from IG, thank you for joining us live. If you do have a question from IG, you can always come over to YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to answer your question while you're inside of the chat. Otherwise, you have to drop the question and hope that I come back around or somebody on my team comes back around and grabs the question. So again, good afternoon. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. If you don't know, now you know. My name is Ramon Preston. And when I'm not watching, like when I'm not doing something else, not necessarily watching, but when I'm not looking at a property, when I'm not sitting down with a client, every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon, we show up here on the show. And my squad and I, we are live. We're available. Any questions you have, feel free to drop them in the comments. Mr. Dawson, live from New Orleans. Good afternoon, my friend. Appreciate you watching the show. Again, put in the comments what city, what state you're watching the show from, who you represent. We want to know who you're representing. Today, we're going to be talking about the 3 skill sets for investors. In my estimation, these are the top 3 skill sets for investors. Now, why do I want to talk about skill sets for investors? Why am I talking about skill sets for investors? Here's why I want to talk about skill sets for investors, because when you look at a business enterprise, okay? When you look at a business enterprise, when you look at a parent company, you have other companies under that parent company. When you look at a business enterprise, you're going to always find 4 profiles of or avatars of people that work within that enterprise, okay? You're going to find laborers, you're going to find operators, you're going to find owners, and you're going to find investors. Now, in most of the larger enterprises, this is going to be a little more clear. You have laborers. These are people who work for the business, right? These are employees. You're going to find operators, even though they work for the business, but operators are more transactional type people, salespeople, marketing people, so they typically work in it. There's a different layer of activity that they're performing. Then you have owners. These are the people who work on the business. In larger companies, this could be someone that they hire as a CEO. In most small businesses like you and I, we're entrepreneurs. Most of the time we're solopreneurs. We're the ones who are laboring. We're the ones who are operating. We're the ones who are owning. And so my whole thesis and my whole, basis for training the clients and the students that I train inside of our Millionaire Blueprint educational and coaching program, my whole thesis and basis for that is to show entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, everyday small business owners that you have to be the laborer. You ain't really got no choice. You got to work for your business. You got to be the technician. Whatever the service you provide, whatever the product is that you sell, you got to be the one pushing that product, providing that service. So you are essentially the laborer. But while you're the laborer, you're probably going to be the operator. You're the transactor. You're the one selling, marketing, getting online like I'm online, pushing your brand, trying to get some momentum and attention. You're the one that's going to have to do that. But while you're doing that, you also got to be the owner. You got to work on your business. You're going to be the transformer. You got to lead you. You got to lead your virtual assistant, your personal assistant. You got to create systems, processes, and most of the time, you ain't really got people that you can afford to hire to do any of this stuff. So most entrepreneurs, small business owners on a day-to-day basis are already filling those 4 profiles. My thesis, my basis, the foundation of what I teach my students and clients is this, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. The whole foundation for me is that even though you got to do these 3 things, you still got to focus on being an investor. You have to start developing a mindset and working towards a skill set as an investor. Otherwise, you never really get to exit any of those roles. So I wake up every day. I still got to be the laborer. I still got to work for my business. I still got to be the operator. I still got to work in my business. I still got to be the owner. I still got to work on my business. But none of that is going to stop me from being the investor who works above the business. Now, how am I going to become a master investor over or above my enterprise? Here is how I'm going to do it. First of all, accepting the mindset that I have to be this guy or gal in order for me to elevate to the next level, in order for me to ultimately grow my enterprise, in order for me to increase my net worth, in order for me to really get to where I want to go in life and have the ultimate freedom, so that even if I have to do any of these 3, I'm doing it because I want to, not because I have to. How do I do it? You have to develop these 3 skill sets. So these 3 skill sets are skill sets that you should become a master at, even though you got to sell products, provide the service, work inside the business, work on the business. That's not an excuse for you to not take out time every day to start developing these top 3 skill sets. Now, there are a whole lot of other things you got to develop, but these are the top 3 skill sets that I want you to start working on. And if for some reason you don't have the resources, you don't have the education available, you don't have the courses, you don't have the coaching, you don't have a community of people who are familiar with these things, guess what? We're going to extend an offer to you at the end of today's show that my signature program called the Millionaire Blueprint. It is an educational and weekly coaching program that we have opened up, and we are extending a special offer to our community for $97 a month. This is a $5,000 program that we have had hundreds, I'm not going to say hundreds of people through the coaching part of it. We've had probably about 120 people through the coaching, and then we've had a couple hundred through the educational component, but we've combined both of them together to make it more efficient, cost effective for all of you. So now, while you're taking courses online, while you're getting educated about all of these business concepts, you can also have coaching available because we host a group coaching call every week live. We just hosted our weekly one last night. It was absolutely amazing. We also have a community that you can interact with other members. We have meetups on a regular basis. It's an amazing community. I'm just excited because I can't wait until we have 20,000 people in this community. But while we're building it, we're going to extend that offer to you. So please stick around. If for some reason you have to go, there's a link in the description for the Millionaire Blueprint. When you click it, you'll see the $97 offer. You'll also see our contact information. We have concierges who are available. You can text them or call them and ask any question you need to ask about the program. What am I getting? How soon can I get started? What do I need to expect from y'all? How can I cancel it? Any question you have, you get that question answered online and with a real person if you click that link or text and call that number. So with that being said, I want to get into the top 3 skill sets for investors. And remember, I wanted you to understand why I'm focusing on the investor, because most entrepreneurs who are small business owners, they've already covered the laborer, the operator, and the owner. And most entrepreneurs, if I ask you, which one would you rather be if you had to choose one, most, if not all, entrepreneurs are going to say investor. Anytime I ask that question in my class, in a workshop, if I ask that to students and I say, which one of these 4 do you prefer to be? Everybody say, bruh, I want to be the investor, man. I want to be the dude or the gal operating above the enterprise. I don't want to stay stuck working for my business, working in my business, working on it. I want to operate above it. Well, if you're going to operate above it, you're going to have to be an investor. And if you're going to be successful operating above it so that you never have to come off of that mountaintop, you have to develop these top 3 skill sets. Okay, so I'll get into these 3 in a moment. If you have a question, put the question in the comment. Let me know that you're following me, even if you don't have a question. Put something in the comments to let me know. I feel you, bruh. I'm right there with you. I understand what you're saying. I have wrapped my mind around these 4 profiles, and that the 4th one is where I want to be, even though I got to wake up every day and execute the first 3. Please let me know that in the comments. Mr. Dawson, he says in the chat, I have a rental that's just about ready to rent out. It's in a LLC. Do you recommend converting the LLC to a holding corp, or just open a new holding corp and put house under it? Yes, that's what I recommend. I recommend for you to create a new holding company and just transfer the ownership of the existing LLC that holds the home under the holding company. That's exactly what I would recommend. Your holding company is not going to literally own the home. Your holding company is going to own the LLC that owns the home. So I don't want to put the actual home in my holding company. I want to put the home in a real estate rental LLC, and I want the real estate rental LLC to be owned by my holding company. That's how you're going to do it. So I hope I answered that question clearly. So congratulations to you on having a rental property. That's a great milestone. Congratulations to you for already having it in an LLC. And so the only thing you're going to do, instead of converting the LLC that you're using for your rental property, instead of converting that to a holding company, you're going to just open up a new one, and then you're going to transfer the ownership of the rental one under the holding company. That's exactly what you're going to do. Congratulations to you, my friend, on what you're achieving over there in the New Orleans area. All right. So these are the top 3 skill sets for investors. Number 1, asset management. You want to get skilled at asset management. Now, how are you going to get skilled at asset management? Well, you have to get skilled and become better at identifying with things that are assets. Okay, so I got this digital board right here. You see it, right? Okay, I have this digital marker or pen right here. Well, if you saw this digital marker somewhere randomly and picked it up, you would be trying to figure out what it's for. But if you don't have one of these boards, you wouldn't know how much of an asset this is to this board. Because without this, you ain't really using the board. You can't use it with your finger. So you have to have this in order to use this digital board. So this is an asset. But I, as the owner of this board, have to identify with this as an asset. I have this cloth. This is an asset to this board because I wipe all the streaks with this. So my point is, becoming a skilled asset manager, which is one of the skill sets you need to have as an investor, it allows you to identify with assets. And when you identify with assets, these assets should be able to generate more revenue to your enterprise. They should be able to increase your net worth of your enterprise. They should also elevate your enterprise value. so that you can look at those, identify with what they are, and then you can accumulate them. You can accumulate these assets as well as acquire these assets, but you're not going to think about the accumulation and the acquisition of assets if you don't think like an asset manager. All right? Okay? David, son, how you doing? Pastor David Burrell, one of my spiritual sons. He says, is there a minimum you need to start investing? Nope, there's no minimum. Because again, your first skill set is asset management. So I just want to learn how to identify with things that can flow money to me and things that I'm interested in being a part of. These things are going to be considered assets, and I'm going to identify with their value. I'm going to identify with their worth. That's going to be a very important skill set, because what could be a liability to one person will be an asset to an investor. But the investor has to think like an asset manager. So there are things that I see in real estate that other people don't see. There are things that I see in business that other people don't see. Where it looks like a liability to somebody in real estate or in a business, to me and to other investors, it looks like an asset because they think like an asset manager. They know how to manage assets. They know how to identify with things that flow money to their business, generate revenue, increase net worth, elevate enterprise value. So that's skill set number one. Skill set number two is deal finding. Deal finding, right? You need to at least know how to find a deal. So David just asked the question, is there a minimum you need to start investing? I'm not talking about money that you need here, if you notice, because you don't necessarily need the money. You need the skill set. Do you understand what I'm saying? You need the skill set. This is why getting educated and getting coached and getting around people who doing this, it means everything. Because the people who are on the outskirts thinking that they need one thing when they really don't need that thing are people who need to come closer to understand that, no, I don't need to even have a deal. I just need to know how to find deals. So deal finding is about two things. It's about lead generation, and it's about underwriting. Which, by the way, everything that I share with y'all on my live show within a 30 to 45 minute window, literally everything I share with y'all on my live show, everything that I share with you in 5, 10, 15 minute clips on my YouTube page, it's all inside of my Millionaire Blueprint, my educational and coaching program. It's just more in depth. I break it down a little more strategically and specifically so that you can digest it. So I don't take my live show or a clip of some event that I went to and use that as my course content or my coaching content. I have a total different set of videos and modules and training for that. So if you think this information is valuable, you really need to be inside of my Millionaire Blueprint community to see how valuable that content is, those courses and modules, and how our weekly regular calls are. So anyway, deal finding is about lead generation. I got to know how to generate a lead. Well, how am I going to know how to generate a lead so I can find a deal? I got to know what I want. So for me, I'm looking at acquiring businesses. So I have certain types of businesses that I want to acquire. I also acquire real estate. I have a certain kind of real estate that I want to acquire. So I got to get clear on what type of business do I want to buy? What type of real estate do I want to buy? You can't be all over the place. Well, I just want to buy everything. No, that's not how you're going to generate a lead to find a deal. I want to buy certain properties primarily in Metro Atlanta that fit a certain criteria. This is called a buy box. I want to buy a certain type of business in a certain type of area with certain characteristics. That's called a buy box. Once I'm able to identify with the assets that I know are valuable to my business and to my future, I can start generating a lead by getting the information of these business owners and these homeowners and start reaching out to them. I can start calling, texting. I can start sending emails. I can send mailers, letters. I can meet them, do whatever I need to do to generate a lead. And then once I generate a lead and I identify with a business or property that meets my criteria as an investor, guess what I can do? I can underwrite it. Underwriting is a financial process. Now I can look at the numbers and the metrics to determine if this deal is good enough to be considered an asset under my enterprise. If so, I can make an offer. Right? Now, I want to go back to one of the questions that was asked. Is there a minimum that I need to start investing? This is where the third skill set comes in at. I hope y'all are tracking me. The third skill set is capital raising. So as an investor, you need to get get real good, and we're all having to get good at this and get better at capital raising. So now one of the skill sets that you want to have is the skill set of raising capital. That's why I said you don't necessarily need money. A lot of deals that are done, they're done without the investor's money. The investor doesn't always have to use their money. Why? Because the investor knows how to manage assets. The investor knows how to find deals, underwrite them, and put them together to show that they are extraordinary deals. When you're able to do those two things, guess what happens to the capital? You're able to raise it because people want to put money in deals that they know can make them more money without them having to find deals, manage assets. That's where your skill set takes you over the top. And I've been telling all of my students and my mentees that this is what we need to be focusing on. All the while, we still have to labor. We still have to be operators. We still have to be owners. We still have to get out here in these streets, not streets, streets. And we still got to sell a product. We still got to provide a service. We still got to knock on doors. We still got to get rejected. We still got to compete at the highest level. We still got to experience losses and struggle and defeat and do whatever we can do every day to get ahead. But while we're doing that, we need to start figuring this part out, because this is what's going to get you off of the hamster wheel and give you the ability to exit and pivot to another level so that you could create financial freedom for yourself. And if this is something that sounds too complicated for you to do, if it's something that you think is so far away from you, then guess what? You can do a couple things. Okay? You can do a couple things. Here's what you can do. Number one, you can sit on the sideline and watch people like me do it and see where we're going to go. Okay? I was just on my coaching call last night, right? So we have our weekly coaching call right here inside the Millionaire Blueprint. This is a program. This is an educational and coaching program. You get 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, on-demand access to all of my hundreds and hundreds of videos, modules, documents, forms for everything. Starting and structuring holding companies, implementing creative tax strategies, integrating systems and processes, creative real estate investing. You get access to all this information. Plus, every Monday night at 7:00 p.m. Eastern, you join me and my staff and our community live for a weekly coaching call where we deep dive into certain topics. We ask questions, we answer questions, we network and collaborate with other people. You could build relationships with people who could potentially be your investor, be your capital partner. They could actually get into business with you if you are in position, right? But my point in bringing that up is last night on the call, one of my clients slash mentees slash students, she testified. It wasn't just a success story, it was a testimony. She was testifying to all of us on the live that she's about $25,000 away from breaking her first $1 million in revenue. So basically what she was saying is, Mr. Preston, I'm going to be your first blueprint millionaire. I'm going to be the first client that you have who has been in your Millionaire Blueprint program who's actually used it to become a millionaire, to create $1 million business. We just heard that last night from one of our mentees. So you can be on the sideline and watch everybody else win for the next 3 to 5 years, or you could put yourself in position. So as I mentioned, this is typically a program that we offer for $5,000 when you add the education and the coaching component. What I decided to do this season is to combine both. So you get the group coaching every week, you get the daily calls, you get access to our concierge, you get all the courses, all the documents, all the forms, all the tutorials that we teach on everything from financial literacy, creative real estate, systems, processes, tax strategies, holding companies, and the list goes on and on. You get access to that right here for $97 a month. $97 a month. I mean, there's I don't know a platform, and I be lurking on social media looking at my competitors and my colleagues' platforms and their courses and their programs. I haven't found one that was $97 a month that gave this type of information. I've seen information on sales. I've seen information on marketing. I'm a part of coaching programs and educational communities as well. I've seen it on credit repair and other things, but I have a lot of people that's inside of my Millionaire Blueprint community that have come from some of them communities, and they've told me, I've learned a lot about A or B or C, but I haven't learned these things that are essential to my growth and expansion and my sustainability. So I want to extend this offer to you for $97. You could get started today. You can actually get onboarded. So you can do it yourself by clicking the link, and you can sign up today. You get instant access. When you process that initial $97 payment today, you get instant access. You can literally start training. You could go back and watch the replay from my coaching call last night, and there's an archive of it. We have all of the replays of our workshops and boot camps in there. It's hundreds and hundreds of educational videos plus the coaching component. So you can start today by clicking the link, or if you feel better speaking to a human, we have Millionaire Concierge available in person right now in my office. You can literally text Millionaire or call one of these numbers. Somebody's going to answer or text you back. If you text, they're going to call you back, and you can ask them any questions. If you feel more comfortable processing your $97 payment over the phone, they'll do it for you over the phone and get you onboarded instantly, or they will send you a secure link to process your payment, and when it clears, they will actually get you onboarded and give you direction on where you need to get started. So either way, you can stand on the sidelines, or you can invest $97 into yourself, which for your business is a tax deduction. It is, because you're educating yourself as the CEO. Your business is going to pay for you to get better at what you do, so that at some point you can be like the young lady. We're going to interview her soon, and I'm going to get all the details for how she used the coaching that she's gotten from me and the training she's gotten inside of our community to scale her business to 1 milli. She is going to be technically the first Millionaire Blueprint in our community. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait until I have hundreds of millionaires. But guess what? 1 is better than 0. So I appreciate you all. Thank y'all for joining the show. Please leave a comment in the chat. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. What was your aha moment? If you got value from today's show, let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page. Go to YouTube, type in Ramon Preston, subscribe, hit the notification bell. All platforms find me at Ramon Preston, so that when we drop content like we do on a daily basis, or when we go live, you get the notification, you get the game first. We're always here for you. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all, and pray that you will have an amazing rest of your Tuesday. Until tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time.